Hello there, I'm Kios the Ronin Beatmaker, and welcome to a Ronin review. Blue Eye Samurai, Episode 5. Great episode. Great episode. I'm a little torn now between 3 and 5 as which one is my favorite now. This episode also was very sad as well. Definitely was very sad. A lot of revelations that were met. And it definitely, I don't know how I feel. I'm a little unsure about it. I liked it, but I'm just like, damn, this really makes me it's just it's weird now. It's like it's the situation now is such a weird place. And I'm just curious now, actually, that more curious to see how this plays out. But another strong episode. The writing was strong. The slight plot twists were great. The using the play the puppet play to mirror the story with Misu was great. Was really done well, and it really worked. So without further ado, let us get into spoilers. All right. So Misu begins her journey. At last episode, the boss, with the boy, snitching on her, pretty much sent his thousand claws to go and kill her, Mizu. So, Mizu's wounded, and they're paralleling the um, her battle in relation to the puppet play and flashbacks. So we finally see her starting off on her mission, and she meets some drug dealers, and they gut her and they toss her out, and she's wounded and she's looking for help, and lo and behold, she runs into her mom. Literally, her mom is a prostitute, and I was just like, wait, what? The mom has like these third-degree burns on the side of her neck, or maybe second degree, and it seems like either the the bounty hunters came to the house and torched it, or the mother torched it herself. I'm not necessarily sure, but now I'm thinking, because we realize that her mom is a an opium addict. I'm wondering if her opium addiction caused the house to get burnt down. So I'm starting to wonder that may have been a possibility. Uh, as she's battling the thousand claws, we then, and her realizing that her mom's still alive, she's spending time with her mom. She's dressed like a lady, it was really different to see her dress as a lady. I enjoyed it. Um, and her mom found her a husband, a banished samurai. We don't really know what he did um, to be exiled by his lord, but obviously he was either skilled enough or important enough to not kill. So she ends up meeting him. So she's like getting married. She was telling her mom like, "No, I swore revenge. I was gonna kill the white men who ruined our lives." And mom's like, "Listen, it's over. I'm here. I'm alive. I found you a husband. I need you to take care of me. We need to move on. We need to stay hidden." Which was interesting. I have to admit, we then meet Miko, I think it's Miko, um, and you get the impression, you're wondering like, how is she going to respond to him? And there's that scene where their wedding night, and she has her blade with her, and she goes, he comes in from work because he tends horses, as you know, and he just goes down to her and he's like, hey, I'm not a brute. Grabs his mat, moves it to the other side of the room, and goes to sleep. And that's pretty much how their marriage is. He pretty much sleeps on the other side of the room. And they slowly develop a relationship. It's definitely cute. The way he kind of mocked her looks and the way she mocked his age. And time is going on, and they're definitely building that chemistry. And as the entire time I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, he's gonna train her and help her improve her skills. Something bad's gonna happen. Maybe he dies. Protecting her. And they're battling. That's how I'm thinking it. I was not expecting what actually happened. So I really loved that relationship between them and the way it builds. And then we get to, and then we flash back to Misu in present time, and she's still fighting, and the fight scenes were really well. I did like the scene in the tight hallway in the back, in the in between hallways of the walls. I really like that. That was really well done, really cool. And even the princess and Ringo, they get a chance to shine. And the princess was willing to fight and die because she's been a prisoner her whole life, and she wanted to at least die on her own terms. So I like that. And Ringo did have a moment to shine. They both did. It was crazy watching Ringo slice that dude's fingers and then gut that guy. Uh, so it was really good. I have to admit, I was surprised. But let's get back to Mizu as a wife. Eventually they end up consummating their marriage. So that was a sight to see. I'm sure when I was even first watching it, I'm like, man, is she gay? Like, well, what's going on? And then that moment with her and Taigen, and it kind of made sense why she would fall for Taigen a little bit, because he actually kind of does look a little bit like Miko, her husband, her former husband, ex-husband, deceased, whatever. So that was a really beautiful scene to see their relationship blossom, and I was really excited. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be beautiful but sad. But then there's that moment where he's she tells her story, and she tells him about how she trained and was a mentor for a blacksmith, and that was really very interesting, where they end up fighting, and he uses a kaiji. I know I'm probably butchering it, but it's like a spear sword in a sense. And the fight is going well, and then she just decides to just go ultra instinct and pretty much compromise her marriage. And more in the sense that I think he just was so disgusted and humiliated that she was able to best him in battle in such a manner. So I think that's part of the reason why he pretty much was kind of disgusted with her, because he realized like this is no ordinary woman. Like this is a force to be reckoned with, which is unfortunate, because of what it ends up eventually leading to, where he essentially is pretty much like done with her. He takes away her horse, the one that she trained and was able to essentially master. That was really beautiful to see as well. And and also what was interesting was early on as well, the fact that um, Miko took the initiative and was essentially stopped Mizu's mom from smoking opium, because that was her medicine, and she would keep on going into town, essentially to get high. So you get the sense that he's going to be a really good husband, and he was actually a good man. I don't know, like was it the fact that she was, I guess, a better warrior than him? Was it the fact that, you know, she was also a half breed and also could fight like a samurai? There are all these different things that kind of make you wonder why he reacted the way he did towards her. But it ends up culminating with bounty hunters essentially arriving at the house. She's under the impression that it was a white man that sent them. And just as they're about to get at her, Miku arrives on his horse and he sees her and then he runs away. And it's like, damn. And then, in Misu fashion, she just goes to town on those bounty hunters and just kills them all with her husband's spear, which mirrors eloquently and beautifully Miku's spear in present time with her sword. And I love the fact that the entire time I'm thinking those are ankle weights and wrist weights, and it turns out it's an extension for a staff. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. She's a blacksmith, and so she would be able to design something like that. Very, very. That was effing awesome. That's all I gotta say. It was effing awesome, and that fight scene was dope. I really, really enjoyed it. It just shows how intelligent and how lethal this woman is. Um, mm, mm, mm. And then we go back to Mika with her husband, and after she kills all the bounty hunters, he decides, "Oh, I'm here to help." It's like, bro, she already killed everyone. And at that point, you're like under the impression, like when he went to the shogun or to the lord to present all of those horses, did he out her at that point in the hopes of also either gaining the reward or gaining more um, of a stance with his former lord? And he's like, no, I didn't do this. And then Misu's mom comes out and she's like, yeah, you did do this. You left. And then he goes, nah, you did this. I saw you smoking opium. You probably went and sold your daughter out for money so you can smoke opium. So Misu's standing there as her mom and her husband start getting into an argument and they're fighting. And he pulls out a blade and she's just fighting. They're just fighting each other. Misu drops the spear and she just starts walking away. She's like, fuck this. It's okay. Sorry. I'm 13 minutes in, I can swear. She's just like, fuck this, I'm out. And she just starts walking away. And then he guts her mom. And she stops. And then he turns, he's like, Misu, I love you. She just takes the butcher knife and just throws it in his head. And it's beautiful because the entire past story of her marriage, mirrors the Onri, the Japanese spirit demon, and the story of the bride and the Ronin. And I really loved it. It was really, really well done. The fact that she was a bride, he was a Ronin at that point, and the way she became this evil, vengeful spirit. I really loved it. And at the end, we see that the princess's father, his men find her, and the princess is like, all right, kill him, Mizu. And they're like, do we have a problem here? And Mizu's like, bro, just take her. Just take her. And they take her home, and Ringo's all pissed. He's like, that's not what a samurai does. And she's like, bro, I told you I was never a samurai. I told you what my path was. I told you what I'm doing. There's no love, no friends, no nothing. Just my task. And he becomes disgusted with her. He takes off the little bell on his foot that she gave him in the first or second episode. And, and it ends with, the princess in the shogun's castle essentially saying, I've met an Ubrijin? I forgot how it was pronounced. I've met a spirit demon. And she's talking about Miso. She has the black teeth. Pretty much saying, Taigen's bride essentially gone. She's Shogun's son's wife. That's it. I think that's essentially the end of her story, because now she's the bride of the Shogun's son. That's it, and that's her story has been completed. And you can argue, like, you know Misu did the right thing. There was no way that she could kill that lord's men and then take the princess. So now, not only does she make an enemy out of the lord, she's now made an enemy out of the shogun, which is just asinine. And Ringo didn't really see that, and Misu just didn't really know what her scenario was, her situation. So it all makes sense. It was a logical thing. It was the right thing to do. Um, and I think it's also like, she was getting a little too comfortable. She was allowing people to distract her from her quest. But I don't think Ringo's gonna leave. He cares for her too much. He'll be back. We'll see what's gonna happen with Taigen. I don't think we're gonna see the princess anymore. I mean, her story has concluded. There's, unless she decides to run away from the Shogun's palace, like that's gonna work. So I think that's pretty much it. We'll see how Taigen responds to this, if he even makes it out of this season. Now that she's wounded, I don't think she's in the right. She's not strong enough right now to face Fowler, but we'll see how it plays out. But this was a very sad episode. You know, Misu's life is just of blood and sadness, and almost seems like no hope. But I think that there definitely will be a light at the tunnel at the end, and I think that's going to be Taigen. I think now that the princess is pretty much married to the Shogun's son, um, there is seems to be a bit of uh, a blossoming romance between her and Taigen, because she's attracted to him. She likes him, and I think he reminds her of Miku. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Uh, I don't think he's going to be dead. I think we'll see him in season 2, hopefully. But I really enjoyed it. Great episode. Very sad, but damn good episode. Damn good episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ronin Review. If you've made it this far and you like what you hear, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And please leave your comment with your thoughts below. Tell me what you think about this episode and what are your hopes for season 2 and beyond. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.